it got an audio box? Yeah, with that little tidbit out of the way, good evening everyone, and welcome to Supercharged. I believe correctly the finale for this season, before a few changes get made to that. However, we will come back to that very soon. However, it's not, obviously, as you can quite clearly tell, it is not me on, it's not a Casper this week on stream alongside me. It is one of the owners of Supercharged himself, Colm. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm actually the owner. There's no other owner. It's all mine. I know. Thanks very much for having me along. I'm actually really glad to be beside yourself this evening. I've obviously listened to your streams back when you've been on with Mike and all the other guys. So
Yeah, it's fine.
really looking forward to share the comms box with another comms person and kind of listen to your style as well as we go. So yeah, an absolute pleasure.
Indeed, yeah. So I'm just on board with Alfa Romeo at the moment, who's first car on track. So before, as I say, before we really get into sort of the juicy parts of next season, as I've just said Alfa Romeo just almost completely bin themselves off before they've even got around this Degner 2. That's not gone well for them. So that's definitely interesting. That's an interesting way to start. We're going with Rabsy, who's now
Cold
first car.
tires.
Yeah, cold tires. Could use that reason. Before we get into the sort of the changes that come, just a little bit of brief about Suzuka. Obviously, a very historical circuit. It's shared the what's the word I'm trying to think of here because my brain is not fully thinking of the word. It shared its duties of in terms of what's actually featured alongside Fuji, but I'd like to ask yourself, obviously, Colm, in terms of between the two tracks, which one do you prefer, Suzuka or Fuji?
So, I love them both. It depends on the style of car you're driving, but see, Suzuka for me holds a special place in my heart. It's one of the greatest tracks, and it's the only figure of a racing track in the F1 calendar.
Yeah, that's indeed correct. Because the bridge, which you go underneath when you exit the end of the first, just at the end, the beginning of the second sector, as Rabsy has validated immediately, and not ideal. He's still on an outlap at the moment, so we're going to go and find, I think that is Wilder, as we've lost Crossy from the session immediately.
Oh, Jesus.
That's not gone well.
I'm back there, mate.
I'm parked there, sir. Yeah.
So, can I just ask you a question? You've
go on
asked
ahead.
me what would I prefer about Fiji and Suzuka. What track do you prefer and why?
Oh, they've both got good qualities. They've both had good races as well over the years, because if you remember back from seasons gone by, Suzuka used to be a finale in F1 rather than it being either a mid-season or a late-season track. It's decided. I'm not sure how many real-life drivers' championships have been decided here in Suzuka. Yeah. We also had in real-life racing between Prost and Senna at this particular corner. Was quickest, 28.4 from him. Wilder's coming up to the line. It's probably going to be about 30 for him. Yep, 30.4. Marginally slower than Joshi Chester, and that's going to be Rabsy behind, who's just started on his new lap again because obviously invalidating the first lap. Just from your own point of view, as a commentator or someone who in general looks at the Suzuka circuit, what's the reckon the sort of the danger areas are on the track in terms of what you could be looking out for in terms of places that could potentially catch you out?
For me, one that I've noticed through the years, racing and doing comms, an awful lot of people do get caught at soon. It doesn't seem like a difficult corner, but if you take it just too far in, you're going to run too wide, and then it's going to ruin the second phase of the corner. With Spoon, it's all about the entry to set up the second phase of the corner as well. And I find that's probably one of the biggest places people actually make the errors.
Yeah, I would say that's very true. It's one of the one I feel like it's an old school track. I think is a good way of saying it. It kind of bucks the norms as such. As Casper to say has gone quick as he's a 27.3. He's about 6 tenths or 6 tenths quicker than Vano at the moment. Who, as I say, Vano's been a little bit missing in action as of recently, as of the last few weeks. From what we've been seeing in terms of commentary side of things. Obviously, we do know that Vano is quite quick. When we also used to have a few other drivers here, the likes of Sainty and such. Obviously, a few of those drivers dropped out throughout the season. Ramsey goes P9. I definitely think he can improve on that lap time. We're going to go down to. I'm going to go down to Pasteleo, who's currently he's the only person on the mediums at the moment, and say like. Well, actually, we'll get onto like the first topic to do with Supercharged. Obviously, if you're not already aware, on Supercharged Discord, there is a lot. One of the major changes coming is it is moving from a Tuesday back to a Monday. If you'd like to just give us a sort of a quick sort of rundown as to sort of why that's.
Of the season next season. We just kind of thought about it probably last month or even a little bit before that. We were discussing kind of what days would suit. As we say, big crash with Pascal's after hitting it off the mouth and out of the pits as well, just so you're aware.
Yeah, he's got a 5-second penalty, a five place grid penalty for collision with that was Centurion that happened there. Anyway, I'll let you carry on.
That happens. Oh, you're fine. Yeah, so basically, it was just a decision between the admin and myself. We wanted to mix things up a bit. But the biggest thing, so the day change isn't actually the biggest. The biggest thing is how we're running it. We're actually going back to when myself and FFG Senna actually set up Formula Fanatics quite a while ago. And we done it under a classic league, but the way we done it was each race day, we're going to have 2 sprint races but 2 separate tracks. So it just means that no one has a clear advantage because you're trying to prep for 2 tracks and it's 2 sprint races. And it gave me some of the greatest action and commentary I've ever seen over the course of a race event. And for me, it was probably, I would say it was probably my most fun time doing commentary ever. You know, I've done endurances and obviously a lot since with iRacing, like in ACC and all that. But for me, that was the best time I've ever had was Formula Fanatics. In the classic race when there were mix like that, it brings up so much good action, and we might even see a few reverse hits throughout it as well to spice things up. Calendar will be released soon, but also we're going to be giving €50 to the winner of each split. So the more splits there is, the more money I lose, basically.
Fair enough. A lot of information to digest there, and a lot, as I say, a lot of changes. Obviously being announced by Colm. In an effort to, would it be a case in point of making drivers think on their toes a little bit more?
It is, but it's also, you know what, it's a challenge. Like, so many leagues do the same thing. As I know myself, we're doing it. We have a race on, it's a 50% or it's 100%. And, you know, it's the same thing. It's a race throughout, which is always very good. It's all your tactics and that. While with sprints, it's just all about out and out race pace and having fun as well. We need to bring fun back into sim racing as well. While you can be super competitive there, because you might have one track that really suits you, and then one track that doesn't. So my favourite mixture of tracks. I'm not going to give away what we're doing on the calendar, so I'm going to do something I done in the classic races. We're doing Barcelona, which was like a nice kind of mix, kind of a fast enough, kind of medium pace, and then we went on to I think it was Baku, which is fast and, you know, one little step and you're dead. Whether it's run off with Barcelona, especially with this game and the older game as well. So for technical, like Monaco, the next race could be Monza. Or if you're good on both of them, it's going to be a great kind of race day for you. I'm not kind of
As I say, it's an interesting, I would say it's an interesting, different take. That's the Alfa Romeo, that Centurion. That's the second time I think I've seen him off the road. He's having fun exploring. He's doing the Bottas lawn mowing service is what he's doing. I think that's exactly what is going on there. Let's just say that
Absolutely.
much.
And you know what I'm looking forward to next season as well is your guys' coverage, and I want to thank you and everyone in the international paddock as well. Honestly, the level of comment you do, whether it's here in the ERC or the other communities, is top notch. And it's coming from a fellow commentator and broadcaster. I know how hard it is to do the broadcasting for an hour, yet alone obviously longer ones, and then to do the comments while broadcasting. They're doing their camera work. They're looking for the action. It's extremely tough, and I don't know whether people understand that. But I definitely don't take it for granted, so I want to say thank you to you and all the team as well for great comms over the season as well, honestly.
No, as I say, no worries on that particular front. As I say, we do try to provide the best sort of services we can. As I say, we started off as just a podcast, and now we run, I think, 4, maybe even 5 different separate leagues now under our umbrella of commentary. So it's as I say, it's nice to be appreciated for what you do. It's one of those things where it feels like again he's done a 26.8. I've somehow managed to miss both of his laps. He's went quick. He went quick. I think he's out of fuel.
Wow.
Either that or he's just deciding. No, he's not out of fuel. I thought he was.
Probably saving the
But
battery.
potentially. Like he's currently down his time. So it is Wilder. But it is to say, it's a nice thing to, and it's also nice for everyone who's in the chat as well. As give me 1 second. Hopefully that's going to clear up. There we go. Looks like it has. Quality went a little bit iffy there for a second. Apologies. It is university Wi-Fi. I can't control this. It's used by not just me. As I say, also with those in the chat and got Demonic Angel in the chat. Oh, I think quite a mix. We've also got Crossy and Logan in the chat as well. You two as well. Hopefully you do well. And from Crossy, who said there could be potential rain in the actual race. I mean, that just gives that adds an extra layer of spice if that is actually the case.
Do we do a rain dance now, or do we wait? Well, come here, I want to answer your question. I have a serious question for you, and I love putting every commentator on the spot. I want you to give me a prediction. Who's going to be the top 3 in qualifying by the end of qualifying? Also, once qualifying's over, I'm going to ask you who do you think the top 3 is going to be in the race. I know we're meant to be unbiased and pretend everyone's going to win. I want to hear it.
Alright, so this is something that has been done a fair bit as such. Me and Mike normally do a lot of this. It normally ends up becoming who do we commentate or curse, because sometimes I think me and it was the SRC. So if I'm gonna go for anyone, I'm gonna go top 3 is gonna be Casper. Vano's gonna be second, and I'm gonna
So, Vano, I'm going to go. I'm going to go wrong because I want it to be true. I want Damo to say Cooper up in third because it's a fellow. Alright, I just want to say now, Logan Wilco's going to crash at turn 1.
real funny with me for some reason. Really, yeah. Pastley I think had there into P8 himself. He's just gone quick. One thing I often find with qualifying you often, if you're just something I often figured when you're doing solo comms, you miss a lot of stuff that happens in qualifying.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I keep an eye on action. I'm always very active, even though I'm talking about some. I'm looking at the split times. I'm, looking at the track map. I'm always searching for the action to move from one bit straight to another. But sometimes, unfortunately, as we all know at comms, and we all fill in that space quite good, sometimes there's no action. Sometimes it's just race. And you just have to make
Talking.
Yeah. 100%.
You just keep talking, you're all fine. If you stop talking and lose your train of thought, then it is just an issue. As I say, Vano has. Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry, I
Supercharged.
was putting over there.
Give this quick old restart at the end of this qualifying session, see if that solves the issue.
I actually have the stream on my phone. It's fine for a while, and then the ping does drop for a few seconds. It comes back, so it is slightly laggy, but it's not a massive issue. Like, it could be fine for a few minutes, and then it might drop. So
yeah, pretty cool. I'll just give it a quick old reset. Yeah, it's my connection sometimes will be nice and work, and sometimes it'll just decide it's going to be annoying. I mean, I wouldn't even try and stream with my the other thing that I have another small hub next to me that I use for doing everything else to do with uni. Is Logan has had an issue there. He's off at Spoon Curve. You can see right there where he's left the dust tracks at the exit of the corner. This is probably one of the few tracks where I think I can probably remember a lot of the corners. Because I don't know why, but even though I've probably seen these corners thousands of times, I still, for some reason, still refer to them by corner numbers rather than the corner names.
depends on some tracks. So some tracks I might know already. I always have when I'm doing comms as well. Try to be on PC, as you know yourself with your laptop as well. You can open up the track map and have it there. So even if you don't remember all the names, you can have a quick look and say, "Oh, we're at this corner."
Indeed, we can. We're now at the end of qualifying. That's absolutely that's a short qualifying session that is just absolutely flown by.
It really has. I'm surprised Logan isn't last after writing off his car.
I'm not sure. I wasn't on board, but I know he was off the track. I never saw what he did after that. So.
The good news, Damo P14. Fair play to you, Damo. Love to see that. And look, Ramsey, actually, he qualified higher than younger Rabs, Joshy.
Yeah, that's been the story throughout the season. As we've been sort of talking about the sort of father and son and who's been the quicker throughout the season, as Casper still remains P2. Marginal improvements, but it's not enough. He still stays P2. Quick Mick goes into P3 though.
Go on, Cooper.
Nice lap time there from him. Cooper's in P4. And Logan is in P5. You let me down, Logan.
I'm hoping you're done with Logan. I mean, Logan, I don't want you to drop down P6, I swear.
Totally not like I had one of you Logan in for like 3rd place, of course. Of course I did.
Big around. Yeah, I know why
he's currently not on a quick lap, so we're gonna go on, I think Damo is not really, I think he's about 3.6 down his lap. I think he's gonna come round and finish his lap. So here he is, he's gonna go into the pits. Oh, that's an interesting pit lane entry.
It's what you call creative.
Creative, yes, creative interpretation of pit lane entry.
I love Damo. Well, do you want to do your restart now?
Yeah, I'll go and get the restart done just now, so that just go and quickly stop and then start again. Give us a second, we'll be right back.